Okay, now is the second way we can solve quadratics and this is by factoring. So this happens when there's more than one x in there. If you see two factors like this one, or if you see on the back we have x squared and an x, you get two x's, it's impossible to get this alone because there's two of them. So we have to use a different strategy. So this is the 15th. So to do this, the zero product property is required. And that means if you have two things multiplying to equal 0, at least one of them has to be 0. There's no way I could get 2 times 2 numbers to get 0 without one of them being 0. So first I gave you one that's already factored. Notice the parentheses, it's in factored form. And the strategy is if we know one of these things have to be 0, we have to think, okay, what x value makes each factor 0? So x minus 1 was the easy one. A positive 1 would make that 0 because positive 1 minus 1 equals 0. So there's another strategy is if you set it as an equation equal to 0, you can get that answer. So the obvious answer was 1 minus 1 is 0, or you can set it as equal to a little equation and get an answer. The opposite side was 5x minus 6. This one's a little more gross. You can't see it right away, so you kind of have to do that side strategy of taking it aside, set it equal to 0, added 6 to get rid of that, divide by 5 next, we get 6/5. So this one was not obvious, this one was, but it has two answers again, kind of like the last solving we did. This was a U-try. You could see, break it apart, set them equal to 0, figure out what you got. Same for this. This messes up a lot of people. If there's just a standalone x, you break it apart, set it equal to 0. Hey, look, x equals 0. We already found what x equaled. Awesome. So on the back side, this is actually all 3 steps. So if something's not already factored, there's 3 steps you got to do. First, you get each side equal to 0. Then you factor using the box. Then you can find the zeros, which is what we did on the first page. So first, I minus 6 to both sides. There is nothing the 6 can subtract from, so it just has to go hang out over there. Equals 0. Great, I did the first step. Boom. Box method factoring. I found the 2 numbers, a times c, what adds to b, made my list, put them in the sides here. X squared goes on the first one, negative 6 goes on the last one. See the previous video if you don't remember how to do it. But I did my factoring, and it was equal to 0, so it's still equal to 0. And now I find the zeros or the roots, depending on what vocab you're using. But this is the process of finding what makes both of them equal to 0. So I didn't write minus 2, but you can see how I had minus 2 from both sides. I added 3 from both sides. There you go. 3-minute video on solving by factoring.